Today's daily recap is for BTG, Beyond the Gates. It's for Monday, July the 28th, 2025. Not a lot happened today, but story continues. I'm gonna get to that. But before I get to that, Leslie's broke. She calls Eva over to Orphe Jean saying she wanted to buy her dinner. And then passes the bill over to Eva, said, I need you to take care of this. And she said, but Mama, you invited me. She goes, yeah, I know. But Mama don't have no money. She lost her bartending job because they wanted a whole new younger demographics of employees. That's what she's saying, right? She probably lost it because she didn't come to work. But anyway, um, and she need, she's got to keep the lights on. So she's strapped. So Eva's like, okay, Mama, I got this, no problem. But I didn't know it got this bad. She says, yes, when you don't have a steady paycheck coming in, baby girl. And I'm thinking, then guess who shouldn't have kicked baby girl out the house? Because I know Ted is paying Eva handsomely. Eva could have been helping pay the rent and or kicking in and paying it till her mama can help. Although if you do that, Leslie will never help again. But um, she says, but you know what? I got an idea. So Leslie leaves her. Of course, she goes straight to Ted's. Straight to Ted's. And he goes, what are you doing here? Again, right? And so she goes, I know I'm not your favorite. She goes, you know what, Dana? You know I don't want to see you, right? So guess who walks right on in? And by the simple fact that Ted is letting her still do that, he wants her to do that. I don't care how much he pretends to protest. I think he likes the attention from Dana. Not in a romantic way yet, but it's giving him, it's giving him attention right now. Even though it's next, sometimes people will take negative attention just to get some kind of attention, right? He's allowing her. She had the nerve to tell him, look, I need you to lend me some money. I'll pay you back. And he looked at her. She goes, look, Nicole never has to know. I won't tell her. Would you believe that, everybody? So Ted said, for one thing, Dana, I don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth. And for two, what makes you think that I would ever lend or give you money again? Ever. So she goes, well, that's because I'm the mother of your child. And for all the child support you didn't, I saved you. He goes, oh, no, no, we won't go there. Because had I known I had a daughter, Eva, I would have gladly paid child support for my child to be in my life all these years. Well, you sent us, he goes, you know what? We won't even go there. Won't even go there. See, I don't know how she could still formulate her mouth. She even said it to Eva. He ignored us. She goes, Mama, we ain't going to do that. You know, Ted knew nothing about me. You know that. So no, no. And he told her, he goes, I'm not lending you money, not now, not ever. Now he goes, you know what? Wait a minute. As a matter of fact, let me take a look at these bruises again around your neck. And so he reaches for her scarf, and she's like, no, I don't have to show you anything. And he goes, mm-hmm, you can leave. See, now, yesterday, what was she doing? Untying him. Look at what Nicole did to me. Yeah. Today, oh, no, I don't have to. show you nothing. And he said, you know what? I gave you $50,000 earlier this year. Where's the money, Dana? And he gave her another 10, remember? 10 and then 50, so 60. He says, oh, I know exactly where it went. You're wearing it. He said, the clothes you've been wearing cost a lot of money. More money than your budget allows. So if you didn't budget, you chose to spend it on clothes, that's on you. And he goes, well, I gotta keep up with the bougies around here. And oh, okay. So no, that's a bottomless pit. But for some reason, and this was yesterday, or maybe today, Leslie told Eva that Ted has, oh yeah, so Leslie calls Eva over to her place and she's running out of Orphe jeans and Tomas was coming in and he goes, Eva, oh, I'm glad I ran into you. She goes, Tomas, I got a mama emergency. I gotta go. Well, I just wanted to make sure, that I want to make sure we're on a good note. She goes, Tomas, right now, I got to deal with my mama, okay? And he goes, oh, okay. And he's just looking at her as she leaves. And I said, see, now I don't like Tomas. I don't like him at all. I see he going after both. So anyway, which he kind of always was, but he and Kat weren't that close. And now they are. So if he's such a gentleman, he should definitely not even flirt with Eva. Okay. So anyway, Eva gets over there, Mama, what's going on? Now, Leslie must have left the door unlocked because Eva came in, and remember, Leslie took her key. So if she used that second key, now her mama knows she got it. But I think her mother left the door open. She's sitting there drinking a martini. She goes, oh, baby girl, you know, I I uh, I just want to talk to you. She goes, you made it sound like this was an emergency. She goes, it was. I went to Ted's and asked him to lend me money. And Eva goes, let me guess, he turned you down. What made you think he would lend you money? And she's like, because I'm the mother of his child. And that's what she said, the one he abandoned. And she goes, we're not going to go there. Ted knew nothing about me. Right. And she says, anyway, I have a plan. She goes, what plan? She says, I want you to get Ted to lend the money to you, and then you just give it to me. She says, I'll pay you back. And she looked at her. She goes, yeah, right, you're going to pay me back. She goes, why would I ask Ted to lend me money just to turn around and give it to you? She's saying, because I need it and we have to stick together and he won't say no to you. And Leslie said, and Eva's like, Mama, man, what? See, because Mama don't plan on getting another job, right? Sure enough, guess who knocks on Ted's door? Eva. But I love the fact she didn't try to con Ted out of the money, making it like she needs it for some important whatever, right? She told her, Ted, I'm here to ask for a loan. Mama said she was here earlier and you turned her down. He says, I absolutely did turn her down. He's like, and now she has you here asking me money for her. And he goes, Eva, when are you going to learn not to do your mother's bidding, right? And she says, Ted, she's my mother, the only mother I have, and she's in financial straits. I have to at least try to help her And he goes, she says, I'll pay you back, Ted. And he looks at her and he goes, you know I can't say no to you. Okay. She goes, thank you, Ted, thank you. But he needs to say, but you know what? This is the last time. Don't come back to me. Right? But anyway, what I was saying, Leslie told Eva, Ted has got that Rockefeller kind of money. And I looked at the TV, I mean, at my computer screen and said, what gives you that impression? Ted doesn't have Rockefeller kind of money. Ted is a plastic surgeon. Yes, he does well, but Ted ain't doing that well. Otherwise, he'd already have another house beyond the gates doing a bill, right? Him and Eva living beyond the gates, okay? She get the back house. So no, he doesn't have as much money as Leslie is fantasizing he has. Now, him and Nicole's salaries put together, oh, they do very well. Separately, they do very well as far as us lay folks, right? But no, not Rockefeller folks. Well, you know, the only reason not the only reason, people can afford country clubs, but one of the main members they are grandfathered into that country club is because of the Dupree family founding it, right? It's their country club, realistically. So anyway, that was that. Now, Kat confides into Chelsea, lets her know she and Tomas took that step, and they slept together. And Chelsea was excited for her, said, okay, give me details. And then Kat was just like, you know what? It was just okay. And she goes, what do you mean? She says, I don't know. I was expecting more. She says, yeah, there was a little pain in the beginning, but after that, she says, I kept thinking, isn't there more to this? I should be feeling more, right? And so she says, okay, so did you talk to Tomas? Because maybe was Tomas rough with you? She goes, no, no. Tomas did everything right. She says, and my body did everything I think it was supposed to. She said, but it was just, I'm laying there, Chelsea, and I'm thinking, when is this going to be over? She's, wow. So she goes, well, you know what? I think you put too much pressure on what you thought the first time was going to be. She says, I think what it is, she goes, but you need to be honest with Tomas. And I think you guys just need practice to get in a sync, get in a groove, right? She goes, you know what? Maybe you're right. So I guess she's going to talk to Tomas. But I don't know. I think it's going to end up being Kat, that she just isn't that interested. Tomas is not the one, right? That's just the one she chose. And I'm telling you, the reason she chose was so that get his attention away from her sister. Ashley and Shanice, I'm not even going to talk about them anymore. Same back and forth. We've got Andre wanted to take Ashley out, and he was asking her, she said she's never been out of the States. And he was saying, well, where would you go if you couldn't? Of course, it was Paris. She would love to go there. And he goes, well, you know what? Rain check on going out. I'll call you later. He leaves. And he has a beret delivered to the hospital. Of course, Shanice is all in the car looking, what behind Ashley's back, trying to, what? And so she gets to his house, and of course, he's kind of recreated a French restaurant thing. And I'm thinking, those two are so boring. To me, they're a whole mismatch. They don't even match. And there's no sparks for us to see, and there ain't no sparks between those two actors. None. They should have screen test them. Then we have, of course, Naomi and Jacob are meeting at Orphy Jeans. She's working there today. I mean, do they pay Orphy Jeans? Because anytime you just go say, and she's an attorney. I'm not working in my office today. I'm working at Orphy Jeans. I'm going to sit here and take up this table all day. That's taking a table from customers. they need to be paying that restaurant a monthly stipend of some kind, right? Because we practically, if we ain't at the club, we live in here. And realistically, Naomi doesn't live at the club. Chelsea's at that club way more than Naomi ever is at the club, the country club. So she was just saying telling him how the meeting of June's sister didn't go well. She wouldn't even open the door when she mentioned June. She said, but I slipped my card under there and the door. And she goes, but I don't think she'll reach out to me. And he goes, well, you tried, honey. And then And then all of a sudden a woman comes in and she goes, but I think she did listen to you. And I don't know why. He just looked at her and he kind of felt it was her, because I'm looking at her thinking, I don't know who this chick is, right? She didn't look like June. And isn't it funny, everybody, when they first introduced June, her character, her storyline, didn't she seem much older? I thought she was going to be that articulate Barbara that died and she wasn't really dead, but she's actually not that old, right? So they're talking to her sister. She said, you know what? I decided to talk to you. And she goes, how did you know I was here? She said, I called your office. They said you were working from here today. So she was talking to him. She said, no, I don't talk to my sister. And she says, and I don't want nothing to do with her. And she's kind of standoffish with her answers. And then Naomi says, but you know what? Can you answer me this? And she had a picture of the kids when they were, that June has. And her sister looked at it and she goes, how did you get this? She goes, June has it. And so she goes, I think I still have it. So she looked in her phone and she had a crystal clear one of them. She says, Naomi says, who are they? And finally she spills the beans and said they're June's kids, Ron and Cecile. She said June abandoned them when they were little. And a neighbor called Child Protective Services and they came and took the kids. And the kids got adopted out. Hello, Ron and Cecile is going to be Tyrell and Samantha. 100%. It's going to be June's kids. That's how they look. They intertwine in this, right? And she said what upsets her so much is she was close to the kids. And she had no idea that June had abandoned them. And the neighbor didn't really have, contacted or her contact information, and Child Protective Services, I guess, couldn't find her. So they adopted the kids out thus, and it was a private adoption. She says, I tried and I tried to find out who adopted my niece and nephew. And because it was private, I couldn't get anywhere. And she's like, I've never seen them again. She said, that's why I will never, ever forgive my sister, because I would have gladly taken those children in and raised them. And so Naomi says, oh, okay, I see. And just as they're getting to that part, June comes walking up. Now, she's walking up, she's looking at Naomi and Jacob. I'm sorry. Walking up, you would see the three. She would see her sister realistically before she sees Naomi and Jacob, but she doesn't. She sees Naomi and Jacob and she's like, hi. And then she looks and she says, what's her sister's name? Oh, goodness gracious. Regina? She said, Regina? And her sister looks at her. So we're going to hear that conversation tomorrow. Her sister probably get up and walk out. And then June's going to be pissed off at Naomi, whole thing, blah, blah, blah. So that's it, everybody. Nothing else really. Oh, Ashley comes over to Andre's place. And like I said, it's got that Paris theme and blah, blah. Fast forwarded everything he said to her because I really did not care. All right, starting today, I have a Comic Corner voice line. You see it says GH, but I mean, I could still, if you wanted to do some comments from Beyond the Gates on there. I can highlight them on my review for Beyond the Gates. There's the call-in number, and it's 424-282-9796. And what happens is when you call, I give instructions. The instructions are, please state your YouTube name and the city that you're calling from, and you leave your short 30 to 60-second comment about today's episode. Any comments longer than that, because I see how long the comments are, I'm not even going to look at those, because I'm not going to take the time to edit them down, no matter how good they might be, to edit them down to a minute. So those are the rules. They have to be less than 1 minute. So 30 seconds is the best, right? And 30 seconds is quite a long time to leave a comment. Don't spend a lot of time talking about, thank you so much for doing Comment Corner Daily Recap Lady. Oh, I love your hat. That's eating up your minutes. You could type that stuff in Comment Corner on YouTube. That doesn't, there's no time period on there. And here's the caveat. Here's the rules, the must. The comments can contain no profanity. So there's no swearing. There's no vulgar speech, because I can't play it. I'm not about to affect the ratings. And plus, I'm not going to play something like that. And I will select 5 comments a day if there are 5 for BTG. And here's the thing. You might say, okay, I'll call back 5 times and leave 5 1-minute comments. Nope, 1 comment a day. I'm only going to take 1 comment from 1 person. I'm not going to go back. And now you got 5 minutes of comment. Nope, not going to happen. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice for you to be able to hear your comment being selected, and you get to state your YouTube name, where you're calling from, and how you feel. To me, this is going to bring Comment Corner to life. We get to hear voices behind the YouTube names, and that's going to make us an even closer community. So I'm so super excited now that this is not going to take the place of me actually reading comments from Comment Corner. I am still going to do that. Okay. This is just something additional, which is why I said only 1 minute. So there's like 5 minutes of the time of my recaps will be hearing the voice messages, and then I still do 5 minutes of Comment Corner, 7 minutes of Comment Corner. Okay, so let's go to Comment Corner right now. I'm starting my trusty dusty stopwatch, and Janelle says, I hope Kat leaves Tomas alone. He's a player. To me, trying to sleep with both sisters. I agree with you 100% on that. Lainey says, happy belated birthday. Good episode, good review. Okay, and then Alicia says, Bill seemed to be a little puzzled that she was satisfied with his sketchy explanation. Yeah, I know. Cleo says, but wasn't Kat and Tomas dating before the Eva reveal? So how can Tomas say Kat wants him to one up Eva? Yeah, they were running into each other before. And then Lainey says, I noticed June was paying with play money. June will end up getting arrested anywhere else. Yep. June isn't wrapped too tight and could be violent. Naomi should have explained to her about money. I agree 100%. Poboop says, yes, I noticed that look that Bill gave Haley, like as if he was thinking, girl, are you lying to me about something? Mm-hmm. Poboop says, yes, I love that. Danny is such a beautiful and flawless. I love that. She was knocking it out of the park. I think whether Kat believes it or not, she was pressured into having sex with Tomas. That look at the end was not of a happy, satisfied woman. She looked remorseful. Tomas is a pig, because we all know he would have had sex with Eva if they wouldn't have been interrupted by the knock on the door. Well, Eva pulled the plug on that before the knock on the door. Roy says Eva did not sleep with Tomas. Eva did not stop Tomas from having sex. Yes, she did. She stopped him. Kat knocked on the door, and that's what stopped Eva. No, no, she stopped him. She said, I don't want to be another woman. Yeah, no. Then they jumped up and got out of bed around to put their clothes on. I know some people want to pretend Eva is some kind of moral martyr, but she's not. Nope, I never said that. But she does want to be better for her father. When Kat left Eva's room, Eva noticed Tomas's face, and she saw how upset Kat was. That let Eva know that he was using her. His real interest is in Kat. Yeah, that's true. And there's more comments that Roy wrote. Everybody can read them. And then great comments, Roy. Just Kay said, Bill definitely gave Haley a look like he knows she's lying to him. She's supposed to be 12 weeks at least. I agree. And he hasn't seen an in-person ultrasound, no cravings. Well, she's pretending to have cravings in front of him, only in public by herself. And of course, no bump, because he says in the previous episode, Bill made it known that he wants to see how far Haley will go with this. I don't know if he said that. I think he's starting to become suspicious. Kat tried to one-up Eva and was losing herself in the process. And an interesting storyline, seeing how sisters react to Tomas. One stood her ground and read him for filth, while the other is heck bent on revenge and losing herself in the process. And let's see, Karen says, girl has got it going on. Beautiful. It must mean Danny. Lucy says, I'm team Martin and Smitty. And Lucy says, Tomas ends up with Kat when Eva finds out. I hope she dumps him. And then Black Pepper Turquoise says, this is such a shame that Kat gave herself to Tomas like this. She should not have done it. The look on her face was instant regret, as she knew it in her head, but probably her emotions and getting caught up in the moment with him took over. Well, she won't ever get that first time back, but moving forward, she'll be smarter and more cautious of those she gives herself to. And Danny needs to stop acting like she's lost it. What has this woman lost? She's lost nothing. Danny's phenomenal. Even though she's a little crazy, she still got the beautiful face, the body. Now, grace and maturity collected over decades to totally bring back into the modeling game. Pamela and Andre both see it clearly, but it's more about her trying to get what she mistakenly gave up for Bill. Thank you for another wonderful review, Miss Daily Recap Lady, and I hope you for the thank you for the well birthday wishes, yo. Yeah, hope you had a great day. Truly appreciate it. It means a lot. And then Just Kay says, I hope you haven't had an awesome birthday. Po Boop says, you're right. She's beautiful and flawless. Absolutely. I can't wait to see that. When Bill sees Danny, start seeing some publicity, start seeing maybe a show of her modeling, on billboards, because they're going to do it up. Bill is going to start sniffing around Danny again. He is. He truly is. All right, everybody, that is it. That is the daily recap for BTG, Beyond the Gates. I will be back tomorrow with another daily recap.